DP Thief is nerfed? Hold on, that's not the right intro. What's going on, guys? It's your boy, Noody. So, every thief player in the game is panicking, every thief hater is celebrating, and I'm here to tell you, DP Thief is not going anywhere. Lucky you guys have me, because I've worked out the special tech after the February 11th patch drops, and I'm going to make a video demonstrating the changes to the DP Thief build once that balance patch drops. Speaking of drops though, today I have a 40-minute comprehensive dagger pistol guide straight from my exclusive platform, The Guild, which has just launched publicly today. I've done a private launch to the waiting list the other day, and we already have almost 20 members in the community, including some of the best players in the game who are making guides on the platform, such as Draze, the Guild Wars 2 multi-class GOAT, and Rectu, the MRGA and MFC winning Willbender. The build section on The Guild is free for all of you to use. The builds were originally behind the paywall, but I thought to myself, I think that having the best builds in the game is something that every player deserves. You shouldn't go to websites and have outdated builds that just simply don't get you results. The build guides, weekly coaching sessions, and community section does require a membership to access. Honestly, don't miss out, because right now I have an offer just for this month. You can gain lifetime access to the platform for only $100. That is ridiculous value, and it will be increased very soon. So far, every single member has opted for this option, and for good reason. We do also have a subscription offer for $10 a month to access all guides and features. Right now, we also have a legendary giveaway going just for introducing yourself on the platform in the community section. Although there will be changes on this dagger pistol build, this is an absolute goldmine for anybody who wants to learn the ins and outs of everything to do with dagger pistol Daredevil. If you don't have the money, that's fine. I'll still be dropping the videos like this from time to time to also reward my subscribers on YouTube, but definitely go to the platform and make sure you are getting all your World vs. World and PvP builds from the guild, as it is always updated by the best players in the game and isn't outdated like the rest. Enjoy this free guide that I've put together for you guys. Go join the guild, don't miss out while we've got that lifetime membership so cheap. The link is in the description. Enjoy, guys. What is going on, guildies? It's your boy Noody,
Yes, sir.
And today we are here with the most valuable thief guide I think I can put on here. The one, the only, dagger pistol Daredevil. This build is absolutely nerf proof, it seems like. It's been around since Heartathorns dropped, and it's still strong today. This is the build that I destroyed QQ on. You've seen me play it for so long. The build will be on the screen. If you're looking for the full build editor version, click the link to the full build so you can see the gear, all the individual sigils and runes, and the relic. This video will be running you through everything. So as a quick overview, the Daredevil build, which runs dagger pistol, is a build that is very much focused around stealthing and bursting your targets. It has high mobility, it's hard to lock down, relatively decent burst damage, good condi cleanse, and overall, the average World vs. World player hates fighting against this build. What we're going to do is we're going to do a trait breakdown, a skill breakdown, we're going to go over the main playstyle of the build, and finally I'm going to do some commentary over some clips and break everything down for you. As you would have just saw, this is the breakdown of the traits. We run Shadow Arts, Trickery, and of course finally Daredevil. Understanding these traits is absolutely essential to playing this build to its highest potential. So let's start off with Shadow Arts. The first minor trait we have is Merciful Ambush. What this does, as you can see, is it will heal you when you enter or exit stealth. You're going to see this line, enter or exit stealth, a few times, and you're going to realize how important it is to the dagger pistol playstyle. Our first major trait is Shadow's Embrace. So remove conditions when you enter or exit stealth. As I just mentioned, entering and exiting stealth is super important, and we're going to show you how to manipulate that to make this build super strong. The next minor trait, Meld with Shadows. Gain super speed when you enter or exit stealth. Cloaked in Shadow. This is swappable for leeching venoms if you want a little bit more damage. However, I believe, and many thieves believe, that Cloaked in Shadow provides a little more value. So whenever you stealth, you'll blind nearby enemies, and then blinding nearby enemies will siphon health from them. With this build, obviously we're stealthing a lot. We've got a lot of skills that do stealth, and we're going to get into that. And you're going to constantly be putting out blinds to enemies around you and actually healing and doing damage off of those blinds. The next minor trait is Shadow Siphoning. Stealth attacks siphon health if they hit. A stealth attack is what your one skill turns into when you enter stealth. In this case, on Dagger Pistol, it's Backstab. That is a major focus of landing on this build, so that's good to keep in mind. And then your last major trait for Shadow Arts is Shadow's Rejuvenation, and this is a big one. Gain initiative when you enter or exit stealth. As we know, when we enter or exit stealth, we're going to heal, we're going to cleanse conditions, we're going to gain super speed, and we're going to gain initiative. Just remember that, because we're going to come back to this shortly when we go over the playstyle. Trickery. The first minor trait from Trickery is Kleptomaniac. Stealing gives you initiative. If you don't know what stealing is, this is steal. It is a shadow step where it teleports you to the enemy, interrupts them, and as you can see, it will give you 2 initiative. Thrill of the Crime. So this is another trait that affects steal. So when you steal, you and all nearby allies gain fury, might, and swiftness for 10 seconds. Great. You know, extra damage, some extra movement speed, and overall it's just good. More boons. Preparedness. This is pretty much the trait that makes us run Trickery. It makes almost every thief build run Trickery. So it just increases your max initiative by 3. So initiative are these little, diamonds that get used up when you're using different skills. As you can see, the more initiative, the better. Bountiful Theft. So this is another trait, once again, that is affecting steal. Stealing grants you and all nearby allies vigor. You rip boons from your target and grant them to nearby allies. Don't worry too much about sharing the boons to your nearby allies. The reason we love this is because it steals 2 boons from your enemies. So when you use steal, you're gonna rip 2 boons off of your enemy to yourself. This is really good because it prioritizes boons like Stability and Aegis. Lead Attacks. This is just a very nice damage boost. So the more initiative you use, the more damage you will deal. And also, steal gains a reduced recharge time. So that is massive. So it goes from, I believe, 21 seconds to 17. And then finally in Trickery, we have Sleight of Hand. Stealing also dazes the target, reduces the recharge of steal. So not only are you going to get a nice little CC, a little daze out of steal, but once again, it reduces the recharge of steal. Finally, we get onto Daredevil. And once again, this is an important one as it is an elite specialization. So what does this elite specialization give us? Of course, we gain physical skills and you gain an extra dodge. We don't use any physical skills on this build, but of course we get the 3 dodges, and that dodge looks like this. So it's dash. We'll get into that in just a moment. But 3 dodges, so 1 extra dodge than you would have on any other build. Marauder's Resilience, so this boosts your vitality and also means you take less damage from foes when you're closer to them. So with your dagger, it's a melee weapon, we're going to be close to people a lot of the time, we'll take decreased damage. Weakening Strikes, so after you dodge, your next attack causes weakness. When they've got weakness on them, their endurance regeneration is going to be super low and they're not going to be able to crit nearly as much. Havoc Specialist. So strike damage dealt is increased when your endurance is not full. Once again, we've got 3 dodges. We can use them quite sparingly. We're almost never going to have full endurance. So, we're going to be putting out an extra 10% of damage. Endurance Thief. When you land steal, you gain 25 endurance, which is half a dodge. It's just good to keep in mind. And then finally, we have Unhindered Competent, which gives you access to dash, which is the dodge we were just going over, just like that. And what that will do, it will remove any movement impairing condition. So that goes for cripple, that goes for chill, and that goes for immobilize. Any of those conditions will get removed when you dodge. Let's talk about the skills. All right, so let's start off with steal, which we already sort of spoke about, but I want to show you guys a little bit clearer because people don't quite understand the importance of steal and also the many ways you can use it. Steal, of course, is a shadow step. It is instant, so it will teleport you straight to your enemy. The range is 1200 range, which is right here. And the way I can tell that is, as you can see, there's no little red line under this steal. If I move back slightly, there's a red line. That means it's out of range. That goes for all skills. You'll be able to tell that if you didn't know already. But this is give or take steal range, and you are going to learn this over time as you play the build more. This is instant cast. So what does that mean? That means you can cast steal in the middle of any other skill you were casting. So if I use Heartseeker, for example, right here, mid Heartseeker, I'll be able to steal. I'll show you right now. So I'm going to Heartseeker, and then I'm going to steal. As you just saw. We are going to use that to our advantage a lot with this build. We'll get into it shortly when I show you some combos. But also keep in mind, because it is instant cast, you can use steal while you're CC'd. And remember, we get a daze out of it. So it'll be a great way to interrupt people while they've got you CC'd and sort of slow down their burst. Let's talk about the auto attack. It's a very quick auto attack chain. I believe one of the quickest chains in the game. As you can see, it does some decent damage. We'll be using this in and out of the fight, but there's nothing really too fancy about it. Heartseeker. This is a skill that beginner thieves love to spam. This is what it looks like. It's a little leap. As you can see, it does a decent amount of damage, but if you read this here, it does double the damage when your target is below 25% HP. It does 25% extra damage when your target is below 50% HP. So what this means is you want to prioritize this skill to get the most damage out of it when your target is low. As you can see there, that little tooltip, this skill is a combo finisher, and this is going to be our bread and butter when it comes to stealthing in the build. Black powder is a smoke field, and what you can do with fields in this game is you can add a finisher, leap finisher, which is Heartseeker. So if I drop black powder here, and then I Heartseeker through it, the result of that leap finisher is that I gain stealth. Now, because we don't have cooldowns, we only have initiative, I can use multiple leap finishes and keep gaining more and more stealth. Up to 4 with 1 black powder. As I mentioned, we're going to get further into stealthing shortly. Shadow Shot. This is a very, very good skill. So Shadow Shot is a unblockable shot. Unblockable for the first part of the skill, I should add. Meaning, when you shoot this, you will shadow shot to your target and blind them. And it does some pretty decent damage. So, just like that. The range isn't super far. It's not as far as steel. It's 900 range, meaning it's pretty much about there. As you can see, the red line coming up. Not super far, but still a decent amount. Shadow Shot is going to be absolutely imperative to setting up backstabs in this build. Now, while we're on that topic, let me show you what a backstab is. Thief, as a whole, gains access to what we call a stealth attack when you enter stealth. So if we enter stealth the way I just showed you a moment ago, so dropping black powder, leaping, as you can see, my one skill turns into backstab, and then it goes away when I'm out of stealth. So let's show you what backstab does. So if I come up here, that's backstab. And as you can see, it hit pretty hard. I'm actually going to stack a lot of stealth here just so I can show you the tooltip of the skill, so I can explain it a little bit better. Okay, that's enough stealth. So, attack your foe from the shadows, striking for double damage if you hit them from behind or they are defiant. So, as you just saw, what we want to do with backstab is we want to hit them from behind to get double damage, right? So, once again, let's show you what that looks like. Pretty good damage if you ask me. Backstab is our bread and butter damage of this build. And as we go into the playstyle of the build, I'm going to show you how we set that up and how we land that more often. But because we're talking about Shadow Shot, I'm actually going to show you how we use Shadow Shot to land backstab. So as I showed you, a regular Shadow Shot just shadow steps us to our target, and then we do a little bit of damage with Shadow Shot. It's still decent, but nothing crazy. What I want you to understand is Shadow Shot is a two-part skill. There is the Shadow Step, and then there's the Dagger Strike. What we can do is we can use half of that skill, and then override the second half of the skill with Backstab. And how we do that is when we stealth up. So if we're in stealth, for example, like I am right now, I'm actually gonna wait till my initiative comes back so I can show you. So I'm gonna cast Shadow Shot, and then before it lands, I'm gonna hit Backstab, like so. And that just happened. Even though it didn't crit, that worked. And I'll show you how I know that worked. If we go here, where is it? Backstab, right there. So Shadow siphoning means the blind hit, and then the backstab. When that crits, as you saw, it's going to hit for like 5k. Now this takes a lot of practice, and I urge you to keep practicing this. Stealth up, get a target, shadow shot, and then hit backstab. See, just like that. I can hit this just about every single time, but it does take people some time to get used to doing it. But if you check your combat log, check that it's saying backstab. And of course, we always want to prioritize trying to hit a target from behind when we're landing backstab. All right, how are we doing? So far following good? I hope so. Let's move on to headshot. So headshot is very straightforward. It's a very quick cast shot, and it just does a quarter-second daze. To keep this very simple, only use this skill if you are interrupting heals or, very obvious skills that enemies are charging up. Most typically, heals are the most obvious one. As you can see, most of them just have this animation where they put their hands up. There's this little blue aura around them. You can tell they're healing. It's very easy to predict someone's going to heal after you land a good burst on them and they take a little bit of damage. Most people just default to healing. So let's show you what headshot looks like. That's it. Just a quick little shot, dazes, interrupts heals. And then finally we have black powder. And as you guys have seen, this is what we use for stealth, but it does more than just that. So if we were to drop this near the enemies, it's going to pulse blind. And you can see those little damage numbers coming up. That means the blind is landing. So it pulses 3 times. So it's really good to use in melee range if someone's over you. Especially warriors, I use this skill against them all the time, and I just force them to fight me inside the blind field. And then, as you know, we can actually just use that to stealth at any time. I'll actually show it to you with the guards. So if I'm fighting someone, I'm auto attacking them, Heart Seeker, I'm in stealth, backstab, auto attack, and then I can drop it again. Yep. You get the point. I want you guys to really, really practice stealthing with Black Powder and Heart Seeker. Alright, let's talk about Shortbow, the other weapon set on this build, and then we'll get into the utility skills. The first thing I want you to note is that on Shortbow, we are running the Cleansing Sigil. So this is one of our go-to cleansers when we are desperate. It will clear 3 conditions as soon as we swap to this weapon. Let's show you the auto attack. So the auto attack is very good in outnumbered situations as it actually bounces between multiple targets, as you can see. Now I'll show you the stealth attack. When we stealth, you're going to gain access to a shot that immobilizes your target, like so. One attack immobilizes for 2 seconds, I believe. Cluster Bomb. This is the main damage from Shortbow. So it shoots a AoE cluster bomb. What you can do is you can also blow that cluster bomb up into 3 pieces like this. So it actually spreads out. Maybe if I show you here, it'll be a little clearer. So if I hit that, hit it again, as you can see, it splits. This skill is also a blast finisher. So what that means is you can blast your smoke field for stealth. This is what you would do if you're playing with friends and you want to stealth AoE. If you want to stealth just yourself, that's when you'd go to doing the Heart Seeker. Disabling Shot. This is a half a second evade. It used to be extremely good until they really crept up the initiative cost of it, but it's just a really good go-to, like last resort evade if you don't have any dodges or you don't have other options you can go to. Choking Gas. This is a very, very good skill in outnumbered fights where you down one target and they're reviving that target. This is an unblockable interrupt. So you shoot a little, poison field like that, and the first impact, so on impact, it will be an unblockable daze. Like I said, extremely good for interrupting revives. That's the main thing I use it for. And then finally, we have Infiltrator's Arrow. You've probably seen this skill, but pretty much you shoot an arrow, it's a ground targeted skill, and it teleports you to that spot. Once again, this is a skill they've extremely upped the initiative cost on over the years, but it's still good for getting away, those oh shit moments where you don't have much else to use, so, you can just use Infiltrator's Arrow. What I will say is try get in the habit of jumping as you use this skill, because it will get you over certain humps. Maybe, I'm not sure if this is big enough of a hump to show you, but it gets me to there. If I go back to the same spot, I'm not sure that that's really going to make a difference, but oh no, it did. See, look at the difference. That's where I landed before. That's where I landed here. You only really want to swap to short bow for 2 reasons, in my opinion. When you're cleansing conditions, when you're trying to interrupt down states, or when you're trying to blast stealth for your allies around you, or if you're trying to run away. Alright, let's get through the utility skills, guys, and then we're going to get into the more exciting stuff, the overall playstyle. Hide in shadows. This is a very good heal. Not only does it heal you for 6k, it gives you stealth for 3 seconds, and it removes all your damaging conditions, other than torment. So this is what it looks like. Bang, 3 seconds of stealth, and any damaging conditions I would have had on me would have got cleared. Signet of Agility. As a passive, this is going to give you increased crit chance, but we use it for the active. So there's 2 parts to it. One, it either gives you an extra dodge back. So if I pop that, it's going to give me a dodge back. The second is if you use it, you're going to clear 3 conditions. Extremely handy skill. Getting that extra dodge or getting that 3 condition cleanse is absolutely crucial. This should be your go-to Condi cleanse if you get loaded up. That should be your first go-to. Blinding Powder. This is your first stun break of the build. What is a stun break? A stun break, anytime you're CC'd, that includes knocked down, knocked back, floated, feared, this will stun break it. So if I'm CC'd right now, meaning I can't use any of my skill, I hit Blinding Powder, it stealths me for 3 seconds, gives me, you know, 1 second of stability, which isn't really that important, but you know, it's a little bonus, but it stun breaks me. That's the most important thing, and it gives me stealth. Blinding Powder is also a combo finisher, so it's a blast finisher, same as what we spoke about with Cluster Bomb. So what that means is, this skill on its own will give you 3 seconds of stealth, but if I use it inside a smoke field, it'll actually give me 5. There you go. Actually, I believe it's 6 seconds. 5 or 6 seconds. Either way, really good. I don't want you guys to get in the habit of using this just to gain stealth for the heck of it. I want you to think about this as a stun break, and mainly a stun break, unless you're really just trying to get out of somewhere and stealth up and run away. Shadow Step. This is used on pretty much every thief build I can think of. Shadow Step is a 1200 range teleport. It's a ground targeted skill. I run quick cast, so I know you can't see my AoE target, but if I use it, this is what it's going to look like. Pay attention to where my cursor is. Bang. It's going to teleport me just like that. So once again, that is a stun break similar to Blinding Powder. So that will be 1 stun break. And then if I return, it's going to be another stun break. So as you can see, I've got that circle there. So I can go up to 1200 range away and then teleport back to that original spot within 15 seconds of placing it down. When I return like that, so once again, stun break one way, stun break back. The way back is also going to clear 3 conditions. Extremely good skill. You can use it offensively. While you're starting out on this build, I'd recommend mainly just using it defensively. But it can also be used to chase people down. It can also be used to be a gap closer if you don't have steel available. There's many ways to use Shadow Step. And then finally, we have Dagger Storm. So Dagger Storm is a 3-second evade. So you won't take any damage other than condition damage, that is, while you're doing this. So before I use it, I want to show you, because it is a whirl finisher and it's got a long cooldown, so I'd rather show you all at once. But whirl finisher, once again, finisher, combo field. That means you can use it to get something, right? So as you spin around and you're evading, you're doing like a little bit of damage, but you shoot out with the smoke field, blinding bolts. So this is extremely good because if you're low HP, if you remember, because of Cloaked in Shadow, we siphon health from blind. If I'm fighting multiple targets and I drop this smoke field and I use Dagger Storm, so this is how it looks. Look at the blind I'm spitting out. A lot. So if I'm fighting 3 targets, let's say I'm half HP, I reckon by the end of that Dagger Storm, if all the blinds hit, I'm almost at full HP. Just very good to keep in mind. Alright, let's get into the main playstyle of the build. As I showed you earlier, you can stack stealth by dropping this and heart-seekering through it, and as you can see, I'm turning my camera every time I do that. That's very important. Learning to manipulate your camera. Go watch my full keybinds and settings guide. I talk a lot about manipulating your camera, how you can sort of, you know, abuse about face like this. And that's all going to help you with not only just this build, but across the whole game. So I'm dropping that, and you can get up to 4 stealths if you're quick enough. That is how you stack the most stealth. But as you can see, it's not very favorable to us because my initiative is super low. In that time where I'm stealth, if I want to engage on my enemy, I'm not really going to have any initiative to follow it up with. This is where we bring in this entering and exiting stealth method. As you can see, when you enter or exit stealth, you're going to gain initiative. So we can use this to our advantage by timing our re-stealth every time we come out of stealth. Like so. If I drop a black powder, I'm going to Heartseeker it through it straight away. And as you can see, it's ticking just as it's ending. I can re-enter stealth before that blinding powder goes away. And the way you know it's working, as you can see, I keep getting super speed. As you can see, when I come out of stealth, I've got full initiative. So I can essentially, by doing this, permanently stealth while upkeeping initiative. So I'm going to do it again. As you can see, re-enter stealth. And then I'm going to drop that. I'm going to re-enter stealth. And then as I'm coming out of stealth again, I'm going to... Oops, I actually messed it up. That's funny. But I'm going to keep it in because that shows you that you have to be really good with your timing. Even someone as experienced as me, sometimes you can fuck up your timing. But the important thing is that you stay conscious of that enter and exit stealth. Heartseeker is not the only way we can get stealth out of our build, as you know. We have our heal. We have blinding powder. If you steal on a thief, I think even these guards give it. Nah, I think they're randomized. But if you steal on a thief, the stolen ability will give you stealth. There are a few ways to gain stealth, right? So what we want to get in the habit of, utilizing those stealths at the right time. Let's say I'm low on initiative and I'm stealthing up like this. For example, I don't have enough for a blinding powder. I'm going to use my heal just as I time it. And as you can see, I come out of stealth and re-enter stealth. And you can do that continuously. If you recall watching my QQ video, you would see me and the thief I fought doing this over and over again because it is best practice while you run the Shadow Art straight line. You're going to have more initiative, you're going to heal more, you're going to cleanse more, and you're going to have super speed. You're actually hurting yourself by not stealthing like this. Actionable step, I want you to practice this exact pattern over and over again until you have it down like the back of your hand. Just as a quick note, you want to Heartseeker as soon as you drop the black powder so you can make the timing, right? So I've Heartseeker straight away, and then boom. Just as it's going away, I re-enter stealth. And then you can just keep doing that over and over again. Let's talk about combos. Damage combos. The big bursts. So the main one that you will see me use as an opener is dropping, the black powder as we usually would to stealth with Heartseeker. But like I told you earlier, steal is instant cast. So what does this mean? I can drop black powder, Heartseeker and steal midair, and as you can see, I still enter stealth even though I do damage. What you can do to follow that up, of course, is backstab. All in one smooth motion. So to recap, because I know it can be a lot at first, 5, 2, while you're in the middle of 2, you want to hit F1, and then 1 again to do the backstab. This is how it looks. 5, 2 steal, backstab. Once again, 5, 2 steal, backstab. It takes some time to get used to that exact combo, but if you practice it just on some targets, just like this, you'll get the hang of it. I'll show you it one more time. 5, 2 steal, backstab. I'm going to show you one more time. I really want to nail this home. 5, in the middle of 2, I'm going to steal like that, bang, hearts, and then I press 1 to land the backstab. Now that is the go-to combo you want to do for max damage when you have steal available. If steal is not available, this is where a lot of people get stuck. They say, okay, Noody, what do I do to follow that up? This build has a very get in, burst, and get out sort of playstyle. So for example, this is how it would look, right? I would do that exact burst, I'll do some damage, do a few auto attacks, and then I'd probably dodge out to get some space. I would then re-enter stealth, and as you can see, steal is on cooldown. So this is when we go to doing that shadow shot backstab combo that I was showing you earlier. So to recall, I go into stealth, hit 3, and then backstab. backstab just before the 3 finishes. This is what you pretty much want to do anytime you don't have steal available, because it allows us to gap close and set up backstab, which is our highest burst skill. You pretty much want to rinse and repeat that until the target is low enough for you to just land a couple heart seekers. 1 or 2 heart seekers usually is all it takes when they're below 25% HP, and ta-da! That is the extremely complex playstyle of Dagger Pistol Thief. So I'm going to show you what that looks like all in one. So I'd open up on a target like that, backstab, do a few autos. Usually I'd dodge out by now. Revealed is gone, so I can re-enter stealth, and then I can go back in, do the backstab, do a few autos, and let's hope they're low by then. I'd hit a few heart seekers and they're probably dead by that point. If they cop it, all the damage, right? Usually it's not a perfect world. You know, they'll dodge, they'll have a few invulns, but when we're in close, we don't want to be here for too long. We want to dodge out and we want to go back to stealthing, just like I was saying earlier. There's no rush with this build, and I really want you guys to get the hang of that. There's no rush. See how I keep stealthing as I'm coming out of stealth? Re-stealth, yep. You can do this forever, guys. You can do this forever. And I want you to get in the habit of that. Because while you're stealthing, people are panicking, they're dodging, they're using skills, they're anticipating your burst, and then you can just mess them up. As you'd imagine, experienced players by this point in the game are going to be used to this burst exactly, and a lot of the times they're going to dodge it. So it's good to switch it up from time to time. Another burst you can do as an opener is you can actually opt to stealth at the start of the fight, like this for example. I'm actually just going to stack stealth so I can take my time. And we're going to do the same thing with steal and backstab. So mid backstab cast, I hit steal, just like that. Or pretty much at the exact same time, I should say, because it's a lot quicker of a cast. So you want to cast backstab and steal at the same time when you're in stealth. So I'm going to do it again here as steal comes back. So I'm going to steal and backstab. Let's go to the back of the target for max damage. So 3, 2, 1, backstab, steal. Just like that. You can hit steal, backstab. It doesn't really matter which order you do it in, but it is going to be quicker if you backstab and then instantly steal. Amazing. Guys, that is the playstyle summed up. Next, I'm actually just going to go through some clips with you and talk you through what I'm thinking at that time so you can see what it's like in real combat. And I'll try to show you a couple different scenarios. Alright guys, so here we go. We're going to start off with this little bit of footage and I'll talk you through it. So this first clip here, I'm fighting, as you can see, 2 really low level players. So they're nothing special, but I think it's a really, when you fight lower skilled players, it's a really good opportunity to show, you know, some clean footage, you know, when everything works perfect, right? So here we go. So I've got a Mechanist here and a Ranger. So I start off with the opening that I've showed you guys. So drop the 5, 2 into steal, into backstab, but the backstab actually misses, so I just hit a shadow shot. And then I instantly, because by this point they've noticed, they're both turned around, they go for me. To avoid a bunch of damage here, I drop that smoke field, my black powder, and I start doing the dagger storm, just like I showed you guys earlier. So that makes me avoid a lot of damage, and then by the time that dagger storm's ended, I'm still in my black powder, so I quickly Heartseeker to get, you know, a little stealth out of it, which I'll follow up with a backstab here, most likely. A shadow shot backstab, actually. So there you go. Already, 1 is dead. Go for the little fancy spin stomp there with shadow step. That is something you can do, by the way. So if you start a stomp, you can shadow step away, and then as you're finishing the stomp, shadow step back, and they're going to die. And then I've just got this one left. So I go in for a little backstab here. As you can see, if we take that back just a second, I had some conditions on me here. So, you know, weakness, bleeds, confusion, torment, burning. And I used my Signet of Agility here just to clear that. And then I re-enter with that same burst. Once again, this is what I was telling you earlier. People can dodge that burst quite often. So that's why it's good to swap it, like switch it up sometimes. But I just go out here, recalibrate, re-stealth, enter with that shadow shot backstab again. And then as you can see right there, if I just take it back a moment, I drop my black powder and I'm really low on initiative. So I just sit in my black powder for a second till I get the Heartseeker initiative, and then I go for the Heartseeker and then the backstab. And then I finish him with a Heartseeker. And then as you can see, straight into short bow, just go for the stomp. actually going to mute this. The next clip is me and my guilty llama going into a 2v4. So I want to show you a few different scenarios just so you can see how it plays in different situations. Don't mind me repping a meme QQ guild here. So I take the Hollowsmith as my first target, and then I'm going to open up with the usual burst. As you can see, hit a nice little backstab on this Hollow. Try going for the shadow shot, it misses, and then once again, like I said, this is something I'll do very often in the fight. Once they've, sort of taken note of me and they're coming for me, I'll drop that black powder and I'll just blind spam while evading with Dagger Storm. And then I'll go straight into a Heartseeker there, finish him. Look at that, 8k, because he was below 25% HP. This guy was also really squishy. Another target's really low here, so what I do is I swap to my short bow, because look, as you can see, I'm not sure if you can see my cursor, but we've got 1 low target, 2 low target, and the short bow is a nice AoE skill, AoE weapon I should say, so the auto attacks are going to hit multiple people and I can cluster bomb. And then as you can see, 2 people go down, I heal. We now have 3 people in downstate, there's 1 guy left. I go for the interrupt with the short bow, but I start getting a little low, so I shadow step away here just to get a little bit of space and hit some cluster bombs. And that's pretty much it. All 4 targets are dead, which brings us to another fight here. This one is in a tower, and this is a good one because I'm in I have to fight in the circle, so I'm in such a tight space. So what I do, I take, once again, open with that same burst, go for the nice little shadow shot there. They use a few dodges. Once again, look at that, straight into that Dagger Storm in the smoke field, which I then use again my black powder to gain stealth. And this Necro is really low, so I just start going for the finish. There's a huge 8k Heartseeker. So I stun break that CC with my blinding powder, and then look what I'm doing, guys. Do you see how I just keep dropping that black powder? I keep dropping that black powder because, like I said, anytime that black powder is pulsing blind, they're going to miss their next attack. I'm getting health out of it and they're losing health from it. And then I can also use that to just continuously stealth and put out more blind, really. Get CC'd there, but I don't panic. I knew I had some time there, so I didn't need to stun break it. And then this Vindicator is just super low and I finish him off, as you can see. Huge clip right there to fight them in such a small space and get the win. This is a 1v1 scenario, so this is just really clean played into a Spellbreaker from Sick here. So I go into stealth, and this one is really, and I want you guys to keep this in mind when you're fighting Spellbreakers specifically, there's 2 things you need to do. You need to blind spam the crap out of them, and you need to try avoid getting hit by full counter. So he just tries to hit his arcing slice on me, he misses. I go into stealth, blinding him of course, and then I land a nice little burst there. He full counters, I know I'm out of range, and that's why I'm running this smoke screen, by the way, just to put out more blinds. I wouldn't usually run this skill, but what you can do with the Warrior Stolen ability is you can actually spin, very similar to Dagger Storm. It works the same way. You shit out a lot of blinds, and then I can use it to stealth as well, which I do. He avoids the shadow shot backstab, full counters, I don't hit it. I interrupt his heal with headshot. I want to bring that back. Maybe I'll slow that down for you as well. Speed slower. All right, here we go. Look at this. So he full counters, I don't hit it. I know he's going to heal. Once again, we can see that blue aura, and I just hit headshot. Look at that. Very good interrupt. And then I just try and shadow shot. He does dodge it. Let's put this back up to normal speed. But he's really low at this point. I know I can finish him. He misses his staff F1, and then I just Heartseeker him out with steel. We've got one more 1v1 here against a Spellbreaker. I hit him with the shadow shot backstab after opening the fight in stealth. See, notice how in this fight, because I'm fighting a higher level player, I didn't open with the, predictable 5 into 2 into steel. I actually have been holding my steel, which I'll probably do after this block ends, I'm going to guess. Yeah, so his blocks ended, he's dodged, and then I get a nice backstab with steel. And this is exactly what I was teaching you guys earlier about how to open up when you're already in stealth, and it's with that steel into backstab. So look at that, hits very hard. I get a few auto attacks, dodge out. He heals. Once again, same thing that happened with the warrior before. As he's healing, I interrupt it with headshot, interrupt, bang, and then I try go for the finisher. He full counters, doesn't get it. Probably will get his heal there. Yeah, he does get his heal. I'm pretty low on initiative now, so I'm just sort of, you know, playing my stealth a little bit. There's his full counter, but it doesn't hit me because it was blinded. He CCs me, I then stun break it, and then I'll probably finish him just, yeah, pretty easily here. Yeah, I think he just dies with this Dagger Storm. Yep. So there you go, guys. That's pretty much a nice overview of how Dagger Pistol is played. If you have any further questions, you guys know what to do. Put up a post, ask some questions. Myself and others will be more than glad to help. I hope you guys enjoyed the Dagger Pistol comprehensive guide. Let me know how I did, and there's much more to come.